So I've watched Last Jedi now 3 times. I've seen it 3 times. Twice in theaters, and then once of the day on Netflix. I've given the movie multiple chances, and I just don't like it. Um, it doesn't make any sense. It it pretends as if I care, or it assumes that I care when I don't care. Um, and it it took the great foundation of the first movie of this new set of this new trilogy of movies, and it completely just ignored everything that it set up. And I'm not saying J.J. Abrams is an amazing director. I like him. I like his movies. They're entertaining to me. Um, I like the new Star Trek movies. I'm a big Trekkie. Um, I like the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, and Voyager and Enterprise and all that stuff. I haven't watched outside of like 2 episodes of the new Star Trek, because I tend to like to watch stuff. I tend to like to watch TV when it's just done, right? So like, Mr. Robot, just gonna wait until the entire series is done and just watch it in one go. Um, I watched the first season; it was good. I'm not big on TV though, and I'm a bit of a movie snob. So, for example, 2001 is my favorite movie, and I think knowing that is important, because I view Star Wars as fun action movies, right? They're fun, they're for kids. I'm supposed to go in, watch some space wizards use light swords and kill people, right? Um, and duel it out. And there's supposed to be some lesson to be learned, some morality here and there, yada yada yada. I get it. I enjoy it. I didn't like episode 2 like at all, because I think, in my reasoning for that is very similar to why I didn't like episode 8. The biggest issue in episode 8, and the same thing with episode 2, is pacing. And there's some commonalities between the two. Um, so in episode 2, we had a needless romance set up. It's like forced upon us. It didn't feel genuine. It felt hackneyed and fake, and it just kind of sucked. It really sucked the life out of it. Yeah, you can make excuses where, or those stories where Spielberg just took like these takes that the actors were like messing around with because he thought the script sucked. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It just wasn't believable. Wasn't very good, and that was like the crux of the movie, was making this relationship believable when we didn't need it. We didn't need that relationship to be believable. We know it happened already because of episodes 4, 5, and 6, and we knew there was gonna be something going on with 3. And that's the thing. We know what was going to happen in episode 3 after episode 2, right? With episode 2, after episode 1, we didn't know if it was going to be like a kid again until they made the cast and whatnot. But for me, I was a kid. I didn't know about casting and all that stuff. So after episode 1, it's like, are they going to do another kid movie? I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm 30 years old. I kind of enjoyed episode 1. I didn't like Jar Jar Binks. I still don't. I do think that Jar Jar Binks theory is pretty on point, but that's besides the point. So going back to episode 8, it just dragged. I remember being in theaters, and that opening sequence was so dull. It just, like, okay, the phrase "punch it" was used twice in 10 minutes. Now, this isn't really to my dragging on point, but the script wasn't very good either. Um, and outside of the Force users, it felt very lacking, and the characters were sort of cartoony and unbelievable. There was no nuance to them, you know. But okay, I'm going to stick to this dragging on thing. So the movie starts, and we have this weird World War II era like um, scene where there's like a World War II era bomber, and you know Poe is like, you know, trying to convince Leia, hey, we need to do this, we need to beat him, and yada yada yada, and you know Leia's like, no, we just need to get the hell out of Dodge, and yeah, okay, there's a little bit of conflict between the characters there, which I guess we needed. I suppose. I don't know why we need this conflict between these two characters. Because here's why. Because there would be no conflict in the movie otherwise. Poe is the bad guy in this movie, right? He's the villain, right? He's supposed to be the Han Solo type character, but instead he just ends up as being the villain, right? He does all this shit, and it's all for naught because they have this plan all along, which is one of the worst plans of all time. You know, it's like, we're gonna go and we're gonna be in the world's slowest chase. It's like the world's slowest chase scene of all time, and there's no reference to how much time has passed. I don't know how long Rey is gone. I assume it's a while. I have no idea how long Finn and Rose are gone. I assume it's a while. They were in jail for a bit, right? You know, they had to travel there to those planets, and they were in jail for some amount of time, at least an hour. You know, I assume that the travel time was a bit, because when they got back, there's only one ship left, and when they left, I think only one ship had been destroyed. I don't remember. You know, there's no real reference of time, so this could have been months for all I know, or it could have been a day. No idea. So the urgency is kind of lost on me because I don't have that frame of reference. I have no idea. To me, it's like, okay, well, there's this slow ass chase scene happening where we're losing one ship at a time, right? And instead of just before the first ship gets destroyed and runs out of fuel, why don't we just turn that sucker around and do what we did with the last ship, and so we still have our whole fleet. And after that ship's destroyed, because we figured out what the hell is going on, we already figured it out, you know. So why don't we just, like, that ship's destroyed, let's get the fuck out of Dodge. No, instead, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for all of our ships to be destroyed and then get the fuck out of Dodge. You know, it's like, we have pilot drones, right? We have drones. Why not just use like the equivalent of C-3PO or a BB-8 to, like, turn the ship around and just go. You know. But no. Or even better, why not have Leia go out that way? We had the foreshadowing where she's Supermaned through space and she cuts the ship in half. She's the one that did it. It really should have been Leia if they're gonna keep on going with that whole idea, right? Nothing in the fucking movie makes sense. Like, from a writing standpoint, it doesn't make sense. There's no reason why whatever the pink-haired chick's name is, I don't remember her name. There's no reason why she needed to act that way towards Poe. Why not just reveal your plan? You know? Because it's obvious things are fucked up here. What's your plan? You gotta tell your people. Oh, there might be a spy on board. Well, we already determined that there's not a spy. We already know how they're doing this. Right? So it's just this weird fake hostility, you know? And even then, this is it's all made up. It's written this way, right? It didn't need to be written this way. Just from the ground up, did not need to be written this way. Real quick, the praises I do have for the movie is, like, I think the interactions between the Force users are really good, including Luke Skywalker, although I didn't agree entirely with the extent of the silliness. I understood it. They're going for a Yoda thing. I got it. I didn't agree with throwing away the lightsaber, because when Rey touched that fucking thing in the last movie, right, she had all these visions and, like, this big fucking burst of holy shit, you know, that we've never seen before, the lightsaber. And Luke Skywalker touches it and he tosses it over his shoulder. It completely erased that scene. That big, you know, Maz Katana or whatever her fucking name is, right? Like, her whole existence is now nullified because Luke Skywalker's, oh yeah, fuck it, whatever, bye. What was the whole point of that then? Why did we even get the lightsaber? You know, it's the movie. The biggest none of the fucking questions were answered. Like, who is Rey's parents, right? That's something that everybody's kind of asking. We don't know, and we'll never know. Maybe. You know, like, that was a big question because is she an Obi-Wan kid? Because accents pass on, as we would know in Star Wars. So like, she has a British accent, or is she Palpatine's kid? Because she fights like him. You know, they both have British accents, roughly. So what's going on there, right? Because nobody else. Here's the thing: nobody else on that desert planet talked with her accent. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's accents in Star Wars are hereditary, not learned. It seems. You know, like, who's Snoke? What kind of fucking bullshit is this? You know, like you are feeding us this possibility that sides are going to switch. Rey's going to be a bad guy and Kylo Ren's going to be a good guy, or at least Kylo Ren's going to come to the good side, or something's going to fucking happen, right? But who the fuck is Snoke? You know, he's supposed to be this big badass that like destroyed all sorts of shit. He destroyed this Jedi academy, you know, the Jedi temple that Luke had built, and you know he got Kylo Ren and all this shit, and he's supposed to be this badass. And that's it. Not even a little bit of his history. And the reason it's important is because you fed us this really cool, like that hologram image of him in The Force Awakens, and his voice and the way his head looks. It's fucking great. There's mystery. There's intrigue. Who is this guy? You know, where did he come from? Because it has not been that long. You know, Han Solo and Luke and Leia are still alive. They're older, but they're still alive. So it's been, what, 40 years-ish? Where did he come from? How did he build this huge-ass army in 40 years? How did he come into power? Don't know. He's just dead. This powerful motherfucker's just dead. Dead from this kid that just throws hissy fits. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Presumably, one of the most powerful Force users in the universe is killed by his apprentice who just throws fits. This isn't some Darth Vader figure that, like, the presence of his anger just warps the metal around him and crushes it in, you know? It's just, he punches a fucking elevator and destroys a helmet. You know, like I like the character a lot, but he's not that fucking, he shouldn't be that strong. It's the same thing with Rey. Rey should not be that strong. You know, Anakin's, at least with Anakin's arc in the trilogy, the episodes 1 through 3, the prequels, it's like, at the very least, that character was weak. Like, he had skills, you know, but you could tell he was still feeling his way through his abilities and figuring things out. You know, Rey is just like, no, I can fucking lift rocks, no problem. Luke did too, granted, but not to this level. So, yeah, and that leads us to the question, who the fuck is Rey? And what we're told is it doesn't fucking matter. Now, granted, who is Anakin? He was a Force baby. Okay, got it. And that's what all 9 of these fucking movies are about, that lineage, right? Because we have Kylo Ren imitating him, right? We have Luke Skywalker passing the torch on to Rey, right? So his lineage, everything about this Force baby is in every one of these fucking movies, right? Every one of these. And yet, it doesn't matter who Rey's parents are, this magical person. She's just the next Luke Skywalker, or she's the next Anakin Skywalker? No. I mean, maybe, but why? But Anakin wasn't just powerful like that, though. He wasn't just like he lost. He lost to Obi-Wan decisively. Like so where is the why do I care? And that's the thing. Like the movie ends with everything fucking destroyed. You have the Millennium Falcon. That's it. You've got what, a ship, kind of, and like some walkers. All right, walkers had never been an issue. You got some troops, and then a lightsaber on both sides. A general that is a caricature in the second movie, but serious in the first movie. I don't fucking get it. It's from the very beginning. The movie makes no sense. I appreciate the World War II imagery. I like that. I didn't like Rose. I didn't even talk about Rose yet. Holy shit, Rose ruined the movie. And it's nothing against her personally. I don't know anything about her. I don't even know this person's name. I know that she's been bullied off of Twitter or Instagram or some shit, and that's awful, right? But that character single-handedly ruined the movie for me, and it has nothing to do with the politics of what she was doing or anything. It has everything to do with her not needing to be there. It should have been Poe with Finn. So we would have had like a Han Solo and Leia sort of thing. I don't mean like with a gay relationship. I'm just talking like that's what those characters are supposed to be, like a Han and a Leia. That sort of dynamic, right? Like from their personalities, And Poe would end up being the Leia figure who he was fighting with and struggling to be, as Finn becomes the Han Solo. Because right now, Poe is the Han Solo, and he doesn't need to be the Han Solo. He needs to be the leader. He needs to be the Leia. And Finn needs to become the Han Solo. And he was this fucking close. He was an inch away from fulfilling his character arc completely. And Rian Johnson wrote it so Rose would make it not the case. At least there would be a reason for Rey to want to do something. Like, because Carrie Fisher's fucking dead now, right? So it's not as if we're gonna have this moment in the movie where maybe we will, where Carrie Fisher dies or something. Maybe, I don't know. But Rey right now has no reason. Like, she doesn't care about fucking Han Solo. She cares a little bit about Luke, but as far as she knows, Luke's still alive, I guess. Leia knows, but Leia's dead in real life. So what are we gonna do there? It's a mess, man. It's just a mess. And what sucks is, like, I bought The Force Awakens on Blu-ray, right? And I've watched it a couple times. I genuinely love that movie. It's maybe not top 10 for me, because I don't think any Star Wars is top 10, but I out of all the franchises that I'm into, man, that and Star Trek are my two. I don't like Lord of the Rings. I don't like Harry Potter. I tend to not like that sort of thing, but Star Wars is it for me, man. And Episode 8 just fucking didn't do it for me at all. It made me not a fan of the series anymore. Like, I have some Star Wars shirts, right? I'll put it like this. Before The Last Jedi came out, I went and I bought some Star Wars shirts, some Star Wars Last Jedi shirts, because I was so fucking pumped for this goddamn movie. And it wasn't that I went into it with high expectations, because I don't go into any movie with high expectations, right? Like, I saw Infinity War, and I fucking loved every moment of that movie, you know? And I went into it with moderate expectations. Probably the highest expectations I've gone into with a movie. The only thing I expected from this movie, from Episode 8, was I wanted to know who Snoke was, and I wanted to know who Rey's parents were, or who she was. Because that's what she's trying to find herself. You know, at least with Luke, you know, he knows where he's from. He's a farm boy from a desert planet, a moisture farmer. You know, he's you know, in Rey, she's a scavenger from a desert planet. Okay, right. Luke doesn't know his parents. Rey doesn't know her parents. There's similarities there. They're the same archetype. But Rey doesn't have the same struggle that Luke has. Like, her training, she's a natural. There was no struggle. She completed it. She completed her training in the second movie. Luke didn't complete his training until what, the end of the third? Something like that. Even then, I don't think he even did. You know, Kylo Ren, I guess, completed his training because he killed his master. But, like, I wanted so much to like this movie. And that's why I watched it twice. I watched it once with one of my friends, and then once with my boss who loves Star Wars, and then once on Netflix a couple days ago, and just, it's the only movie, I'll put it like this, I like watching bad movies. I don't mean like The Room, which is a bad movie and it's fun. I mean like real fucking stinkers. And I like watching because I have the Mystery Science Theater mentality about me, right? Where I can still enjoy a bad movie and point out, you know, like plot holes and all that stuff. But this is the worst, as an adult, let me preface that, as an adult, this is the worst movie I've ever seen in theaters. I would rate, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but I went and watched, movie 7 or 8 of the Harry Potter series, the one where they go to that, they're getting like the Horcruxes or some crap, and they go to this lake, and they're on a boat with, fuck, what's his goddamn name? Not Gandalf, but it looks like Gandalf. What's the stupid name? Damn it. Dumbledore. And they're going across, you know, and he does his little fire attack thing, and that was the worst movie I had seen as an adult up until this point. And this one was just way worse. It had, like I said, had pacing issues, acting issues, plot issue. The acting issues are more because the characters were written really fucking weird. Like, okay, Benicio del Toro, what a phenomenal role. That character was my favorite in this movie, right? I loved him in this movie. I loved what he represented. I loved the stuttering and the accent and the way he fucking manipulated and the way he moved. Grade A acting, right? Mark Hamill did a very good job. His conversation with Yoda was decent, you know. And the revelation that Rey took the books, right? That's cool. That's cool to me. You know, I like that sort of thing, you know. Beating expectations. Rey wants to keep the Jedis alive for some fucking reason. I don't know why, but at least she wants to, because I guess she sees the good in it, right? That's an assumption I'm making. I don't know. Maybe she was going to go sell them, but at least that's there. And I liked all the interactions. I understand why people didn't like the jarring thing where Kylo Ren and Rey were talking to each other, right? And it was going back and forth. I understand why people didn't like that. I thought it was brilliant. I really did. I think the visuals in this movie with like the salt planet, the one that's here on the screen. You know, like I thought that the red on the white looks pretty fucking good. You know, when the pink-haired chick says "to infinity and beyond" or whatever the fuck she said, as she presses the button. Oh, let the force be with you, I guess. Which it should have been Leia. That would have just. Can you imagine the emotional impact where it's Leia. She's walking out there with her head bandage and the cane, and she's like, "Where the fuck is Leia? Oh my gosh! Oh, we need to go find her." And she appears on the screen, or you hear her voice at the intercom, and says, and she gives a speech, and she says, "May the Force be with you." And she presses the button to go to light speed, and there's silence, and the white, and the black, and it splits in two. What a huge way it would have been for her to go out, and how simple. Like what a poetic way, and with the foreshadowing that was in the earlier in the movie, where she split the Star Destroyer, whatever it is, in half. How beautiful that would have been. Like legitimately not a single dry eye in the theater, right? What a send-off for that character. Beautiful. Instead, we get Holdo? Was that her name? Holdo? We get her to do it. I don't care about her. Like, that's the thing. She did nothing that made me care about the character. I have no emotional attachment to her. She was just being a mean bitch to be a mean bitch. She was just hiding something because Poe was a guy, as far as I can tell. And that's the only politics I don't like in this movie. Because the only reason I can find to why she didn't like him is because he was a cocksure pilot. Like, it is so. That's the only thing. Only bit of politics in the movie I didn't like. Like, Rose didn't need to be in the movie. And that's the thing too. That whole sequence of events where it's like, Poe fighting against Holdo, and then Finn and Rose, they go on an adventure together. No. None of that. You don't need to introduce these other characters, right? You don't even have to have Leia in a fucking coma. The drama with Leia should have been the chase in dealing with it and mitigating it the best that she can. You have Finn and Poe go on this adventure, right? Where Poe has more experience in the world, in this sort of world, right? Because Finn has just seen one side of it, and that's the other thing too. You get to see both of these guys working together. What we have wanted, what the fans wanted, because it's like, it's the whole droid rescuing thing and the jacket and all that shit. And in the other movie, it's like, oh shit, they might be gay, haha. They have that sort of bromance, right? And we don't get to see any of that. They separate. Rose gets to go. What the fuck? Who gives a fuck? These two should have gone on the adventure together. And they should have butted heads a little bit. And Poe should have learned how to become a leader in that, right? And Finn learns how to become a bit of a hero. He gets out of his shell. He's the one that ends up making the deal with Benicio del Toro. And he gets a little more confidence. Because Finn's weakness is he has no confidence. That's why he tried to run away. Poe's weakness is he has too much confidence. He's too sure of himself, and he's not prepared. He's not ready to be a leader yet. And Poe most certainly didn't learn how to be a leader in this movie. All he did was learn that you just need to listen to what you're told. Finn tried to be a hero, but he was told, no, that's not how we win. We don't win by being a hero. No, we love. What bullshit. Like, Rose didn't need to be in the movie. Holdo didn't need to be in the movie. There needed to be more time with Rey and Luke and Kylo. That trio of characters was done phenomenally. More screen time for them. You don't need a big cast for these movies. It's already getting pretty fucking big. You just need a handful at most. I would be all for just rewriting this movie, making this a bad dream, starting over. But it's just disappointing, and it's sad because now after the movie's been out, right, I've been able to see the reaction of people like Kathleen Kennedy, and it's not good. Not I don't like it. You know, even Ryan Johnson, J.J. Abrams, both of them. I like J.J. Abrams just fine. But their reaction to legitimate criticism. Like, I don't feel like my criticism is negative. I didn't like the movie. I just legit I thought it's fucking long, man. It has bad pacing issues, and that's the thing too. Infinity War was just as long as this movie, and I wanted more. I didn't want that movie to end. I want to see what's going to happen next. You know. And that movie ends with, well, what the fuck's going to happen next? Everything's fucking destroyed in that movie, and I want more of it. Everything's destroyed in this movie, and I don't really care about Episode 9. I'm just not really that interested. I didn't go see Solo. Because I don't trust them to treat Han Solo properly. I still don't know if I'm going to ever watch it. I'm also not interested in anything outside the main story. Rogue One didn't interest me either, because I know what's going to happen. It's like... I think that's one of the reasons why The Hobbit wasn't so good, because there's no real suspense. Of course, everybody's read the book. But, like, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, which most people have, it's just not as good there either. Prequels... I think it's also why the prequels weren't as good. Because we know it's going to happen. We don't know the specifics, but we know Obi-Wan's going to live. We know Anakin's going to live, We know all this stuff. It's just, like, the things in between that we don't know. We're getting filled in on it, but the suspense is gone. And at least here there should be suspense. I should be caring. Like what setup is there? What's the next step? Because at least with Episode 5, right? We knew what the next step was. Han Solo's in Carbonite. He's getting shipped to some place. We gotta go rescue him. There's a little bit more training we got to do. We got to find out what the fuck these bad guys are doing. Episode 8, it's like everything's destroyed. We're still running. We're still running away. We're still not going on the offensive. And there's no setup for it. The only thing is a lot of time's got to pass. And a lot of time never passed. I guess Episode 1 to 2, a lot of time did pass. A lot of time did pass there. So I guess if we're going to close out the series, right? Make it mirrored, like whatever the fuck. That's a good way to do it, I suppose. Where a lot of time passes, and like 10 years or so, and there's a new rebellion. All this, or whatever the hell. That's the other thing, too. I don't actually know. Like, when we last left off, right, the rebellion took over the government, I thought. And they became the official government, and now in Episode 7, it's not the case. It's so unclear to me. Because, like, at the very least, all the politics in Episodes 1 through 3, it helped us understand what the fuck was going on in the universe, right? Like, because it's sort of crucial to understanding why planets are getting destroyed, I guess. Like we don't need to know why a planet's getting destroyed, because it's just a fucking bad guy, right? Bad guy, dark suit, destroying a planet, we gotta stop him. Got it. In the next movie, same thing. But we gotta do something a little different. We gotta toss something, little something in there, Okay, got it, And in the next movie, well, we gotta go out the bang, and we gotta in this. We gotta kill off the bad. We gotta kill the bad guys and have maybe a little bit of redemption someplace, because we haven't had a redemption arc in this series. Okay, got it. Episode. With Episode 1, 2, and 3, it helps explain why the planets are that way. Why the fuck we're blowing up planets. And what his motivation was, and how evil he is. Because we didn't really get that. We just got that he's killing some guys and blowing up planets. That's cool. Like, how evil is Kylo Ren? Is he as evil as Anakin, where he's killing babies? It doesn't seem that way. But he's, like, super powerful. I guess. But he's definitely not as powerful as Luke, because Luke just kind of toyed with him. You know? I don't... Oh, it's just, what the fuck is the point?